more, then I'm going with you.
How it's supposed to feel. How it's supposed to how it's supposed to
Hey guys, this week we've been in Austria at CrossFit Makama, doing a lot of training, so mainly doing strength, mainly doing squats, a little bit of snatching, a little bit of lunging, pressing, all this stuff to gain strength. As I told you guys in the first video, we're gonna talk a little bit about the brand Valued, why I started it, what's really behind it. See you in a bit. Valued is obviously a brand that's related to sports, related to CrossFit. Back when I was going to school, when I was like 13, 14 years old, I hated sports. So like sports was worst thing for me to do. Whenever we had sports lessons at school, I would be getting nervous even like a few days before, because I yeah, simply couldn't belong there. We mainly played soccer at that time, so I was one of the kids who could not play soccer at all. It still is something I can't do, but at school I was like really bad. All right, so what happens if you got one kid that's really bad at something and all the others are good? You get bullied, you get made fun of, you get laughed at, and that was really a frustrating time for me. So I figured I need to do something that gives me value, that others see, oh yeah, Stefan, he's able to do something really cool, so we're not gonna laugh at him any longer. At that time I had a friend of mine who was riding motorbikes, and he always would take videotapes of other guys riding their bikes and doing stunts and tricks with their motorbikes to school, so we would watch that in the breaks. And then I figured those kids who laughed at me, they really were attracted to those videos. They obviously thought that those guys are super cool. So I figured if I'm able to do the same thing than those guys that I see on videos, maybe then I'm cool enough for the others to accept me. So I then decided to start riding motorbikes. Alright, which was a funny thing, because I basically was afraid of everything that would eventually get me hurt, so it was kind of a contrary thing to do, right? In the end, I started to ride motorbikes. I also would start to ride motocross, to ride freestyle motocross then, and then this was the one thing that defined me. As I then grew grew up a little bit, as I finished school, I figured that maybe I need other things that define me as well. This was not enough anymore. So what did I do? I then decided to study, to do something which enables me to earn a lot of money, and then I have this option as well to show other people how valuable that I am, because I earn a lot of money, I have a lot of cool things, I can afford a cool car, I can afford a cool flat, I can afford a cool lifestyle in the end, which yeah, which gives me that special thing as a person. I did that as well, and then eventually I would come to the point where I discovered CrossFit for me, which was at that time something new. Not many people in Austria did it, and you wouldn't have lots of gyms where you could go to. So this was another thing that I could stand out of. If I'm gonna do that, then maybe it doesn't matter if I'm not a good motorcycle rider anymore, or maybe if I lack in some other areas. I always try to find something which made me appear cool and valuable before other people. So I started CrossFit, and then I figured, all right, you need to be super good in order to stand out, in order to belong. So what did I do? I always tried to put in more and more and more. I was so desperate to be the best there that I went to those CrossFit classes mornings and lunchtimes, and then even in the evening. But I still figured I need to keep going on. I cannot stop. I need to do more and more and more and more. And that thing then really came crushing down when I decided to move to Switzerland. At that time, my wife, she already lived there for a couple of years, and so it was obvious that I also would make the step to go there. But I figured, like, saying this is super easy, doing it is a completely different thing. What happened was I was so afraid of losing all that things, losing my well-paid job, losing my car, losing my flat, losing all those friends that I tried to show as Stefan that was not really there. I was so afraid of losing all these things I worked for, because if I would lose them by the switch to Switzerland, then I figured I'm gonna start from scratch, and I'm again the same person that is gonna be laughed at, that others are making fun of if they find out who I really am. I always had this problem that I tried to do more and more and more, and it was never enough. And I think this is like true to so many things in life, whether it's sports, it's relationships, it's your job, it's like material things. It cannot ever be enough. At that time, my wife, she came to faith. And then eventually she would always talk to me about faith, about God, about Jesus, what he did for us, and why this is so important. But I never would listen, because this was also something which stressed me a lot. But at the same time, my desperation, my depression would not just like disappear. And so one night I thought to myself, all right, let's give it a try. So I sat there and I started to pray, like I did when I was a little child. Really made like a simple prayer, asking God for his help, asking him to take away all that fear, all that anger, all that like that feeling of being afraid constantly to lose stuff, so that other people discover the true me. I woke up the next day and it was completely a different thing. I felt free of all that fear of failing. I felt free of that fear of losing stuff. It's actually kind of hard to describe, but yeah, I felt liberated. I moved to Switzerland, and I kept growing in faith a lot. This was back in 2017. What you need to understand is that God created all of us. He also loves every single one of us with all of his heart. And that's why we all have so much value, why we are all accepted, no matter who we are, where we are, and what our circumstances in life are. This acceptance and love and value that God's giving you will not change, because like he proved to us. He sent his own son. He sent Jesus down to earth, who in the end died for us. He died for our sins. And the one thing he wants us to do is have a relationship, personal relationship, out of our own choices with him. That's the one thing he desperately wants us to do. Of course, with relationships comes comes responsibility, and that's true in faith as well. But he's never forcing you to have a relationship with him. This is a gift, and he just wants you to accept it. And out of this, the idea of value kept forming, because especially in CrossFit, and like also what I experienced in CrossFit is this pressure to perform. You need to always be better, you need to lift more weights, you need to be faster, you need to do more rounds in the same given amount of time. And this is exactly where this brand Valued is trying to change this perspective. Because out of this value and out of this love and acceptance that God gives you, you are free to perform without pressure. No matter if you fail, no matter if you lose or win or whatever, God's there to pick you up again. And that's true for all of us. And this is why value tries to change this picture of I need to perform to be someone into I am free to perform because God is giving me the ability to do so. He's the one who says that I am valued, that I'm loved, that I'm accepted, and because he says so, nothing else can take this away. I hope you now have a little bit of a better understanding of this brand, of what's behind, of what's going on, why I created it, and what my main message is. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Then we're gonna talk a little bit more of this combination of sports and faith, and where I see parallels, where I think that we can like draw good things out of both, and then in the end bring them together. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and see you soon. Bye bye.